You're listening to From Our Lens, a podcast for photographers and brides where we dive into all things weddings.
Whether you're a pro behind the lens or bride-to-be, we've got you covered.
Join in on the conversation and take it from the gals who have been to a wedding or two.
Grab your camera or your wedding planner and tune in for our hot wedding takes. Let's focus on your forever.
Hey friends, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back.
Welcome to another week. We're really excited about this one. This one's going to be like more of a fun like memory lane episode. But it's also something that like I feel like we both get asked about a lot. So so it'll be good, I feel like. So if you might not have known, I feel like we've talked about it before, but me and Sarah both met at photography school. So we went through that. It was like a 2-year program. Very fun, very like intensive, like really got us in like the good mindset to like just be full-time after we were done. But I feel like when people think photography school, they like they almost think about it not being fun. I don't know. And like I think for us, like we learned a lot. We still took it very seriously, but we were able to like let loose and have fun and still be very creative. So we're going to talk about it today.
Yeah. And I think people think like artsy fartsy, like, I don't know if it was necessarily artsy fartsy or just like straight up embarrassing.
No, but like, I guess bear in mind when we're talking about this, but like bear in mind that like this is the beginning of our career. Like these are literally the first 2 years of our career, which is, I think it's fun that we get to like look back at all these like fun,
I think so too.
Fun memories, I think.
Because we both played with photography before school and obviously like we had an interest in it. Like I would go take pictures of my friends, Jordan the same, whatever. But like I feel like when I got to school, I was like, dang, I don't know anything about photography. Like I always just shot in auto, did my thing, but you get to school and it was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, I was the same way. Me and my dad just did whatever we thought worked. And then, so it's really cool to like look back and see like where we started, because a lot of stuff that they made us do in school, me and Sarah don't do now. Like they really taught us everything.
No. Yeah.
So even seeing some of the assignments that you can tell that like we were not into it and we're like, like this isn't our vibe.
We just would come up with a concept and just kind of go for it. But also just an FYI, if you are listening to this episode, you might want to watch it because we're going to share some of our work and it is pretty hilarious.
If you want to laugh around. So me and Sarah tried not to share. Like we've seen all these pictures before, but it's been like 8 years. So we tried not to share them before we did this episode so that we could like have a fresh reaction.
And there's a lot of stuff that I completely forgot we did because we would do like we had assignments obviously where we would take pictures of each other, but we had a lot of like in-class labs that we never did anything with because they were honestly kind of stupid pictures, but finding them, I was laughing so hard because we look like babies.
Yeah. So I think before we start sharing photos, let's just talk about like what the program was for us, what like the basic of it was. I feel like that is like what people want to know first off the bat of like what we did.
Totally.
So it was a 2-year course. We both graduated with a diploma. But it was very intensive. I think there was some kids in our class that had jobs, but it was kind of one of those courses that like it was, you didn't just go to school and then come home and not have anything like left to do. Like I know most courses you have studying, but we actually like had to go out and shoot. Like most nights after school. Like we didn't have a choice.
And our class time during the day was like 8 to 3. And then we had our assignments after school. And they said like our workload is so heavy in this program because we want you guys to like have the workload for if you were a full-time a full-time photographer.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Jordan and I, it prepared us well for what we do now because like the shooting.
Very intensive.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it just got us right in that mindset. So we were shooting all the time. We had classes, like you said, from 8 to 3. I think before we'll talk about each class, but like we had like photography classes, editing classes. We took business classes. We had English classes so we could like communicate. We had critique classes. We'll get into it.
Yeah, critique was a fun one that we'll share about.
But they really like they gave us like a full rounded like photo, like they gave us everything really. And it's not
Yeah.
like yeah, we probably could have had more video classes, but like they tried to just squeeze everything that we might need to know a little bit about into it,
Mhm.
and it was very
Yeah.
good. They did a very good job of like showing us like exactly like what
Yeah.
all to expect.
No, it was an incredible program. Like, honestly, it taught
Yeah.
us so much about so many different things. And really, you got a taste of every type of
Yeah.
photography. And you were able to, like, I think Jordan and I both had an idea of what type of photography we wanted to do. But you did get to dip your toes into every
Yeah.
niche. And I think a lot of people in our class learned that photography was not for
And
them.
you know what?
So,
That's also valuable.
yeah.
So like that's also valuable.
Yeah, like a lot of kids only did the first
Yeah.
year. And then I think like the percentage of kids that actually graduated compared to when we started our program was like
I think so too.
significant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also had a thesis our last year of school, which a lot of
Mhm.
like programs do have that. But I think I almost
Yeah.
thought it was a little bit like wild that we had to do like a full thesis because it
Mhm.
was half
Yeah.
of our mark for our last year of school.
Yeah.
It was very like we had the whole year to do it. Like they really
Yeah.
focused on like putting a lot of effort into it and telling a
Mhm.
story, and like so that was fun.
Yeah.
We can talk about that too.
And I guess another thing that Jordan and I realized today, like we knew this was happening over the last couple of years, but the program actually doesn't exist
Yeah,
anymore.
very sad.
They have a certificate program, but yeah, our program that we did and so many other photographers did is no longer a thing. So it's kind of sad.
I know. I thought I know I heard of it like shutting down, and I didn't know if it was actually going to shut down, but I think there was like a petition, and I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I think I'd still be a photographer if I didn't do that, but it definitely like it kickstarted our careers. So I think it's so valuable.
And I honestly don't think that we would be where we are today without that program because like Jordan was 19. I was an 18-year-old
Mhm.
kid, actually turned 18 during the
Mhm.
program. But it was like, it kickstarted everything because what we learned in those 2 years, we probably would have learned on our own in 5 or 6 years, if that, because everything was so compact. It was so intensive that like, we learned everything so quick and we were able to start our businesses leaving school. And like at 18, I wasn't ready. At 19, you probably weren't ready either to start your business. So it just gave us the confidence to be able to get going with our
100%.
businesses.
But yeah, I think it's very sad that program doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But if you are
it's so
interested,
sad.
we were looking. They do still have photography courses. So like we did this program at NATE, which is in Edmonton. They still have photography courses. It's just not programs. So they have certificates and little like Photoshop courses you can take, which are probably still very valuable. So it's definitely like if you're interested, I would go look into it because doing a course like that, especially through a college and like I don't know if they're in person or if they're online, but if it's the teachers that we had, it's very valuable. They were great. Like all of our professors were awesome. We're still friends with all of them like now. One of them actually came and shot a wedding with me. Like after I graduated, so that was really cool. But yeah, they're all still like our biggest fans.
And they weren't like teachers. Like they really made you, well, like obviously they were because you had to be on time and all the things, but they treated you like friends too. Like you had such a different relationship with them than you would just like in a normal university program.
And our program is so small. Like it was 20 people.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think it started at 28.
Oh, okay. But even
then we lost
28 though is lots of college programs are hundreds of people.
Oh, exactly.
So I think also having a small class helped because you could kind of like find your people.
Yeah.
We found our people.
Yeah.
You guys have all heard our love story.
How we met.
But yeah, if you guys haven't heard our love story, me and Sarah like showed up to orientation. We were just there. We're like, oh, what program are you in? Sarah's like photography. I'm like, oh, me too. And then we're like going through orientation. They're like taking us to these buildings. And then we're like, well, like, why does this? Because you sign up for the orientation for the program you're in. So we were like being shown things that like were not photography related, and we're like, okay, like this is a little weird. And then we finally realized we were in the wrong orientation and we both screwed up. And I'm like, wow, this is fate. But because of that, we were pals. Like Sarah came and picked me up for the first day of school. We showed up and everyone thought we were besties already.
Yeah, people thought we signed up together, but like literally we were from different sides of like Edmonton, like where we grew up. We're completely polar opposite. But yeah, we just clicked. And you can really, when we go through these photos, you'll be like, yeah, no, they clicked. Like you can see it.
I'm scared.
Not a doubt about it. So I guess like what was one of the biggest parts for me, I think, with our program was our critique class. And Let's start with this, because essentially what it was is you had a topic, and this is what you do in what we did, I guess, in our first year. Every week you have a topic, and you have to go out and shoot one photo for that topic, and you print it and you mat it, and they put up everyone's photos at the front of the classroom, and they would get a guest every week to come, and they would go through every photo and they would literally critique it. They would say the best things, they would say the worst things, and like sometimes we would put more effort in than others. And then, but it really like,
well, I think, okay, an ego killer, but also it's kind of like taught us tough love. Like, I think, okay, with photography, like sometimes we take pictures and we're just like, we love them because we took them and our heart and soul is in it. Like you said, like we're like in love with it because it's just, it comes from us. It comes from our creative mind.
yeah.
But I think critique class, like it's so important to be able to critique your own work and let others critique your work without being so emotionally attached to your work. Like it lets you see the photo for a photo instead of seeing it through your heart, like as a photo you love. And it helps you grow because then you're like, okay, like, yes, maybe it's a great photo, but does it have the story that I actually want it to display? Like, is it maybe not in focus, but I just love it? Like,
Yeah. And it shows you what clients are going to be like in your job. And I think that's why a lot of people realize that like, okay, photography is actually really hard because it's subjective. And these people would come in and like, you would think like, I remember weeks where I was like, this is amazing. Like I did such a good job. And the guy just like ripped it apart. But like, also I've had clients that I've done photos for that have been like, nope, hate them. And it teaches you to have thick skin. Like that is one of the most important things.
And also too, like, well, thick skin helps you, like, if you hear someone else doing it, it almost like gets your brain going and it helps you realize how you can do it to your own photos. Because now I feel like both of us critique our photos. Like, I don't even think that I'm doing it. I just do it. Like, I critique my photos all the time. But it's important. You have to be able to do it. Tough love. Also, it was in front of all of our classmates. This wasn't private.
No.
Like,
oh, no, definitely not. And sometimes the second years would come in and watch too and like put in their 2 cents.
You know, it's funny. So me and Sarah, this class was right after lunch most of the time. So we would like go to I'm not saying we're like crazy for this, but like we'd go have lunch right before, like we'd go to the bar or like the campus like lunch bar, whatever. Yeah. And we would have a few beers because we're like, okay, like we're ready for disappointment today. And at the end of the year, like we had other people joining us from class. Like it was a group of us.
We started a tradition and the teachers were like, you girls.
Listen, we were adults and it's not like we weren't getting crazy. It was just also it was like we were bonding. Off. Like it was we were making friends. Yeah. Like, I don't know, you're in college.
Yeah, it became a tradition though. Like we would go to, it was called the Nest.
Yeah.
Because Nate is the ooks, so it was the Nest, and we would go and have a couple beers or a shot or a side, whatever it was.
Yeah, that we because honestly, it is a lot easier to get your heart ripped apart when you're a little bit buzzed. Oh.
Yeah, you're like, whatever.
We didn't do it every time, but it just sometimes,
Yeah, no.
I think it just like opens your eyes, like to be a little bit disconnected from your work because it is important as much as we love our stuff. Like it's important to like look at it from a different way sometimes and not just.
Yeah. And understand why other people may not feel the same way as you because that is a reality.
Yeah. No. And also too, like some of the speakers that we had come in, like say we had a speaker come in and he's like an architectural photographer and like one of us took a picture of a person, like everything, art is subjective, right? So even when these people came in and judged our work, like you have to, you take their criticism, but then you also take it with a grain of salt because everybody's different.
So true.
Like a lot of those photos still maybe could make us a lot of money, even if that one person doesn't like it, right? Exactly. And that's again,
I remember one critique and he was like one of the biggest commercial photographers in Edmonton. And I loved this photo. I thought it was called a diptych, which is 2 photos side by side, meaning to tell a story. And I was so pumped because I was like, oh, I did such a good job. And he ripped it apart. I got such a bad mark. He was so like brutal about it. And then one of the instructors after came to me and were like, no, he was way too hard on you. I disagree with what he said. But it's subjective. you're allowed to have your opinion, and they had to have
Mhm.
a strong opinion on everyone's work. So that was a good lesson for me,
Yeah.
like, because I was so heartbroken and so embarrassed that he like ripped it apart. Like it was so bad.
No, it's all
But
subjective. So it just
yeah,
helps you with
totally.
your with getting a little bit
Oh,
emotionally
so many ways.
unattached from it. So we had to take an English class, which seemed really weird because we're like, hey, this is photography. But once we got in there, she kind of explained, and she's like, yeah, like obviously you're in like a photography class. This isn't this isn't like high school anymore. And she's like, look, like business and photography and all like anything that you try and do, like you need to be able to communicate. Like you can't be going around with spelling errors and like not knowing how to write a paragraph. Like as photographers, you're gonna have to write blogs, you're gonna have to write and you're gonna have to communicate with clients, write emails, write contracts. Everything that you do to advertise yourself comes down to writing. She's like, we just need to like kind of make sure everybody knows what they're doing. Everyone knows how to use like words properly. You want to sound like, and I think we also talked about being professional in our writing too, part of that. So I think that was really important. And then that turned into business class, which I think I'm so glad they put business class into photography.
Yeah, I think they honestly could have done way
Oh my
more
God. Yeah. Way
because
more. Yeah.
yeah,
It's so important, and it's like, yeah, like we're photographers, yeah, we're artists, but like we're
yeah.
making money because we're business owners. Like it's
And I remember when we did business class, Jordan and I were like
oh
pumped.
yeah,
We were so excited, and we were the only two in our class that were excited, and everyone else was like, "Ugh, business class." But I think we both have that like interest, and that's also helped us in our
yeah.
careers because we do like the business
As
aspect of
much
it.
as it's art, it's still being able to be a business person and thinking about it, disconnecting yourself from the art to think about it from a different way because a lot of people cannot do that, and I think it's very important. And it's not a bad thing. It's just you have to be able to. So that was really important, and I think if you ever do like an art school or like something like that, maybe like even if you haven't done any education, I don't know if I would even like go to photography school. I would maybe invest in like business classes if anything.
Yeah, even do a couple photography classes, or there's so many resources now that like you can do courses online or watch YouTube videos, but I think business is
But you're not gonna
equally as
oh
important.
yeah. Like it's and I
Yeah.
there's so much that I freaking like should have like listened to or taken notes on and I'm like, I know I learned this and I can't remember.
I know.
But
And you learn things the hard way
yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
really good and I'm glad they had that in there.
Yeah,
What
totally.
else? Okay, let's dive into like I guess this is part of like being professional and like all that. So business. So part of like our mark, most of our mark was like our courses that we did, like our classes and then our assignments, right? But one part of our mark that I feel like this is different than a lot of programs is attendance and tardiness. So I think the first day they like sat us all down. We were doing like the orientation and stuff, but they they said they're like, so you're not only being marked on everything, but you're also being marked on your attendance and your tardiness. They were like, look, like as photographers, if you want to become a photographer and actually do this as a business and not a hobby, you cannot be showing up late to client meetings, to client sessions. You can't show up to someone's
To
weddings late.
weddings.
So they were like, if we were late,
No.
I don't know what percentage it was, but
I
I
can't
think
remember
it was also
either.
too like how late you were. It wasn't even like oh you're just late. Like I think
Mhm.
like I think there was like a sliding scale, and then also like
Yeah.
how many classes you missed. And I think if you would let them know
Yes.
beforehand and say like, hey, I won't actually
Or
make
had a
and
reason.
communicate
Yeah.
like you would with an actual client, they would waive it
Mhm.
because there's actually a reason. But if you
Yeah.
just didn't show up, I'm pretty sure like there was a good
Mhm.
mark taken off. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is that's also like that's why trade school is so cool because it's so practical. Like they really took elements of being a photographer because all of our teachers were photographers except for maybe the one or and they're like they still are. So they took a lot of aspects of like what you actually do in the real world into our program. So yeah, the lateness thing and like at the end of the year and our second year, kids really started to fall off the and I don't know how much that would have affected,
No,
but
I
that
don't
could have
know.
like made you not graduate.
No, I know because I showed up, but I don't know. I would love to. I wish I could remember like what the percentage was because yeah, it would be
I
very.
can't remember
I'm glad
either.
they did that though.
That's
I
cool.
think
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, it's very practical, and they really just try and set you up to just be ready for business, and that's one of the things too. And it reminds you, like yeah, like I can't show up late. Like I need to show up early. Like we can't even risk that, right?
Yeah. I think that was super important.
Another fun thing that they made us do. So with all of our assignments, like most of our assignments, we had to take pictures of people or things or like whatever it was. But they really like drove it a coffin into the nail of the fact that they didn't want us to be using the same one person for all of our assignments. Because they want, again, this was all like around like trying to keep it as real as it would be like in the real world as a photographer. So they said they're like every assignment and you need a model, you need to find someone else. And they're like, we know that you are not going to have enough friends to do all of these. So there is going to be a point where you're going to need to reach out to strangers, because they knew like most people aren't confident going up to strangers and asking people to take their pictures, but it's something that's very important in this business to be able to, like, all of our clients are strangers. A lot of them we don't know.
Yeah. 90% of the people that we work with, we don't know. Like, looking at who I was with my confidence and my like outgoingness before school versus after, night and day, because of that reason. Because I had to reach out, and like for me and Jordan, we weren't from Edmonton, so we didn't know people. So we would reach out to strangers, or we would reach out to people that we knew of from our city, what we grew up in, and say, hey, haven't talked to you since we were in kindergarten, but I need a model for this assignment. Would you be cool with modeling for me? And that really made us outgoing people, because as a photographer, you can't be shy. Like,
no, and if you are shy, you just have to kind of just get over it. For
I don't know, some people do it, but it's hard. Yeah. And I was so shy. Jordan was outgoing, but you were kind of shy though.
I was
maybe
a
not
little
as
bit more
outgoing
shy
as you are
than
now.
I was now.
Yeah. I was like mouse shy.
No, but again, it was one of those things that they just made us do, because they're like, this is something that you're gonna have to deal with every day. Like, we're gonna start it right now. Yeah, and I think that was another cool thing that they did. It wasn't like normal, like people get away with.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things I think I took from it, was like the confidence it created in us, because we had literally, and they're like, no, you'll get a 0 if you use the same model twice. I think I might have used the same model twice for different classes, but then nobody noticed.
Oh well. Okay, so another huge thing, again, that like kickstarted us, I think. We had numerous, not just one or two, like we had numerous Photoshop and Lightroom classes. So if you're a client like that doesn't do photography, these are our editing softwares. So you'd know what Photoshop is, but Lightroom is primarily like you edit in Lightroom, do like basic stuff in Lightroom, and then edit a lot of the more advanced stuff in Photoshop. And then Lightroom is what you work in. But we had like, I think like 4 classes of these per semester, right? Like,
yeah.
And so much of the stuff we learned, like people don't even learn in years. No. Like every day was something new.
Yeah. And it's something now that we do subconsciously.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think if we didn't go through there'd be stuff that we learned in those first 2 years we'd be learning now in like year 8 if we didn't go through that.
Oh, honestly.
Yeah,
like head swaps for us.
Oh my God, that is
5
the easiest
seconds,
thing
done.
Yeah.
And photographers, like, it takes a long time to learn that, but like we did it so
that was I think for me, that was one of the hugest things, because it just like kick-started it. Like we didn't have to sit on YouTube like doing our own tutorials at home, and we could ask questions and we could practice while he was showing us how to do it and use it for all of our assignments. We also had like state-of-the-art computers to work on, which was like beautiful. But
no, exactly.
But like, yeah, I think most people you don't get that much education going through like a basic course. You really don't. I think that for me was probably one of the biggest things. And even just, I think being able to ask a person, like having our teacher right there.
Yeah. To show you and not be distracted. I think being in the classroom too, and having to focus on things and do it yourself in the same time, rather than sitting on your computer, playing on your phone, watching a video on your TV, like,
oh yeah,
you're not as distracted
100%.
And it's in a controlled setting. And
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we also had some videography courses. They did it there with us. I think it was just one semester one class of videography.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
It gave us a good base.
It was my favorite class.
You loved it. I was like, I didn't know what was going on.
Fish out of water.
It did help me though.
Yeah, totally.
I think if I were to do another class now, I would probably do videography, if anything. Yeah.
Videography, yeah. Yeah.
So that was really fun. Like we were saying, they really just gave us like a good little basic like knowledge of everything you
Mhm.
might need to know. Because then
Yeah.
you can go and like.
And it was enough to run with because it's very similar to photography, but
We also had wedding classes. So we had a few wedding classes.
yeah.
Me and Sarah were like the queens of wedding class.
I remember so excited. Like we came to class that day.
We were like front
Pumped.
row, like biggest smiles, like ready to go.
Because I think pretty much like we were the only two genuinely interested in weddings.
I think there was a few others, but I think for us, like we knew that's what we were going to do after, like 100%.
Yeah.
And the other kids were like, they still didn't know what maybe they wanted to specialize in. So they were interested, but they
Yeah,
weren't like
totally.
in it as much as we are, I guess.
Yeah, no, we were pumped.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like wedding. And also in wedding class, like they didn't just like go over basics. Like I feel like we've dived quite into like.
Oh yeah. Like we went to a hotel for a unit and we did like reception lighting and like learned how to do like on camera flash and flash drags, and we did the getting ready scenario.
Yeah, they faked.
We went to one of our instructor's house and they faked a bride getting ready, and we had to know to shut the lights off.
Yeah, they not only judged you on your pictures, but they judged you on how you acted with their fake bride.
Yes.
And like your professionalism, and like Sarah said, if you were friendly, like if you were fiddling with your settings in front of your client, like the model, if you turned the lights off, like how you like they didn't just judge you on your photo at the end. They judged you on the whole experience, which I think I'm so glad they did, because it makes you think about all the things you need to think about when you're doing a wedding in real life.
Oh no, that was like a very cool class that we did.
Yeah. You know, I was probably one of my favorite assignments we did. Well, we both
yes.
were stoked.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But that was really fun. And even too, like, yeah, he went over not only like skill and like how to shoot weddings, but he went over like dealing with clients, like dealing with every single person being different, dealing with all these different scenarios. Because our teacher that taught it was a wedding photographer and he's done so many weddings. And so he was able to like give us a really good look into it before we did it.
Oh yeah. And I think it probably turned off a lot of people from weddings.
No, but to be fair, like at least people shouldn't be doing weddings if they're not fully in it. So if that can help you realize that, then that's fine. Like you don't want to go to a wedding and shoot a wedding if you're not in it and you're not going to do justice.
Yeah.
You want to be doing it for the right reasons, not just the money.
And that was with any of the different types of photography we learned, because there's, commercial, there was industrial, there was architectural, like there's so many different types, and it really like made us go, yeah, no, don't want to be doing that.
Yeah.
But we both found our niche, that's for sure.
We did. Before we start getting into our old assignments, because that's like the fun stuff. So we talked about it a little bit, but we had a big thesis that we had to do in our last year of school. So our thesis, if no one's really went through like a program where they've had to do a thesis, I guess we should probably explain what it is. I didn't know what a thesis was before I went in there. But a thesis is like a body of work, and this can be anything. Like it can be art, it can be like an essay. Well, we had to do pictures because we were in photography, but like a thesis in general can be anything. But it has to be a body of work about like a subject and like kind of like a presentation about like a theme or something like that. So we each had to pick a theme, and then I think it was like 10 photos or like 15 or something. I don't know, but
I think it was 15 or I don't want to say 20, maybe.
But yeah,
15.
like throughout the year, we had to create. Well, first we had to plan out each single photo about how we wanted our photos to be, and like create photos as the year went by in this one theme to like create a body of work. And then we had to present it, and at the end of the year, in front of like a huge auditorium, like friends and family and just other people. So all of that in itself, and even at the end, like that presentation, I think a lot of people were scared to do that. Like even just show their work to that many people. That's a traumatizing date for me because I fell down the stairs. I was the MC.
Oh yeah.
And
I forgot that.
I was the MC and I was like running down to like do something, and I just fell right down the stairs.
I know. Oh my God. I totally forgot about that, Jordan.
Yeah. Glad no one was recording that. That's just me in general. But
yeah, that was so not sorry, but that was so funny.
Yeah. So that was that. Yeah. Sarah you did your thesis. I'll let you talk about it. I'll talk about mine after.
Yeah, mine was called Wheels, and mine was about portraits of like middle-aged men with their like classic cars. So I really like it was kind of a fun topic. Like I grew up, my dad always had fun vehicles, but I wanted to like showcase because you see all these pictures of these classic cars that these like middle-aged guys, restore, play with, fun, but you never see the like them with their vehicles. So it was kind of just like a different, and they're like, middle-aged men don't like their picture taken whatsoever. And it was just, I don't know, it was so fun to see. Like I had my dad in it and just like a bunch of his buddies, all these guys with their cars. And I've always loved like vehicle photography. I was really into that when I was younger. And yeah, it was just like a very cool project. I was really happy
I
with how
really
mine
liked
turned out.
yours. Your thesis was really good. Yeah. Mine was Small Town Anywhere.
Yeah,
And I
how
think it's still
cute.
very relatable to like
Oh
what
yeah,
I do now.
totally.
But I was really missing home, like living in the city. I always thought I wanted to live in the city, and then I moved there and I'm like, no, I
I
miss
know,
home.
me too.
So I
Yeah.
did it on like small town living. So so I kind of did like I tried to just find like moments, like I pictured moments and showed moments off of like living in a small town. So like sitting around a fire, like the stars at night, floating down the river, skidooing, I think was one. That one probably shouldn't have been in there, a little
Yeah.
cringy, but it is what it is.
Oh.
And
It's true though,
but
it's
just
part of
like
it.
it was really fun to do it because I was connected to it. I think a lot of the thing too when you're doing project like this, you have to find something that you're connected to because or else you can't really connect with what you're trying to do. And like just putting it all together was really fun. We'll have to link our theses if you still have yours. I have mine on Vimeo somewhere, I'm pretty sure. So
I think mine's on YouTube, but I used like an AC/DC song as the
oh,
background, so the copyright
took it out.
is
Oh
off. But
shoot.
I think it's on my website still. But yours was cute too because our class was full of like city kids. Like honestly, most of our class was from Edmonton. Like yeah, that part was kind of funny. Like with all these very very city kids, and
Yeah.
then yeah, so that was a really cool thesis that you did.
I still really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool project. I really enjoyed. It was a lot because like for you too, we had to go home pretty much every weekend that year because like we were going back. Well, and I didn't want mine to be winter.
Yeah. That too. Me too. Yeah. I think too, it really helped when we talk about like being able like with photography when you're doing a session of somebody to like tell a story and tell a great story of them. I think it helped us think about a story when you're doing a thesis. It has to have a story. Like you can't just throw a bunch of pictures together that are kind of related and then say it's a thesis. Like they have to go together. They have to tell a story.
And we had to mood board and we had to like plan every single shot before we did it too. So it like the pre-planning of that was really helpful for us.
I think it really got our brains like turning about like what it all takes to make something storytelling.
100%.
So that was really fun. I don't know if there's anything else I missed. I'm sure there's something that I missed, but like I think most of that. Oh, you know what? We didn't really talk about this, but we had to do like studio lighting a lot of the time, so it was really cool. Like we got to play around with some really cool equipment that like most people won't ever get to like put their hands on without buying it because it's so expensive, and even just how expensive some of the stuff was like so terrifying to me. But
they had crazy gear. That's what's crazy to me that the program's done because like what are they gonna do with all this
I'd
gear?
love to buy some.
Yeah, same. Well, I don't know actually. I feel like kids probably did not respect it enough.
We did, but yeah, like you could we could use
did.
all the gear, which is a really really cool opportunity in itself to just be able to try out
that was
so much
worth
stuff.
the
Oh my
program
god,
alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even just trying it. You could sign stuff out for the weekend and take it home and test out a new lens or test out a new light or like whatever. It was really cool because like
I feel like I didn't take advantage
oh
of
my
that
god,
enough.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
My dad asks me all the time. He's like, "Why didn't you check this out?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like I could have taken out those huge lenses like the wildlife photographers do, and we could have played around, and we just did. I don't know, but it is what it is now. Just having the opportunity is really cool.
So should we jump into it? Who wants
Some
to start?
old
Do you want me to
stuff.
start sharing?
Okay. You should. You start. You probably have the good stuff.
Okay. I'll start. Let's see how to.
Okay, so you got to talk about a little bit what these assignments are.
Okay. I want to start from the beginning. So I found these photos. So like obviously we had
Oh my God, look at
assignments.
me. I'm so young.
We're starting off strong. So we would have these assignments where like we would be in class, we would learn something, and then we had to go into, because we had like, what was there, 3 or 4
Yeah.
studios?
So
in
they'd
our
like teach us a light setup, like a lighting technique.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to practice.
And we would have to go into one of the studios at school and shoot it. So these are all just like so funny. So it's like Jordan with very
What?
horrible lighting on her face. Like we both
You look like you're 10 years old.
like complete babies in these
Oh
photos.
my God.
They're so
God.
funny. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I just found the funniest.
We probably, you know what's funny about? You know what's funny about these? We probably thought they were so good. We probably.
Well, that's the thing. Especially like we would do like crazy lighting on our faces and stuff.
What in the world?
And then especially I think like in our first year, we had like just weird assignments. So one was like the lamp assignment.
where you had to take a lamp
So-
to a spot and tell a story or something, right?
Yeah. So it had to be like a very random location. So Jordan and I went out one day and with my bedroom lamp,
Oh. my
and we went to
God.
this place called Graffiti Alley. And it was like underneath, it was like an overpass, but it was underneath the Anthony Henday in
Yes.
Edmonton.
Yes.
And it was kind of sketchy because like it's this full like alley that's no one's there and it's covered in graffiti. And we're going around thinking, okay, this is kind of creepy, but we're taking pictures of this lamp. And then we're up on the like in the middle part of this like alley, and underneath a truck goes down. And Jordan and I were like, no one's here. Like, how is there a truck down there? And we start
It was
freaking
actually
out,
very creepy.
screaming.
It was very creepy.
Yeah, because we're like, how did this truck even get down
Mhm.
there? So we're like hiding, thinking we're gonna die.
Oh my.
We're running around with my bedroom lamp. Yeah.
Looking
Just
like
the
weirdos
funniest
anyways.
thing.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
So this is another good one. So
Coors Light
in
hat.
our I know Jordan's wearing a nice little Coors Light hat, but we had to go in. We had to go into a
Okay,
graveyard.
by the way, we went into this graveyard as a class. So it wasn't just
This was, like, our
this
class,
was not
yeah.
me and Sarah's idea, okay? Our
No.
class, like the teacher made us do this, come here at night, which I
Yes.
still think is weird
Yeah.
to this day, but it is what it is.
It was the creepiest thing. We met at probably like, I don't know, 8 or 9 o'clock. This was in October. And we go to this graveyard. And so it was called light painting. So we had to like, I don't know if you're not a photographer, this probably won't make any sense, but you open your shutter and you paint with light to like light
Instead of
things up.
using a
So
flash or like the light of a
Yes.
room. Oh my.
these photos are hilarious because they're just like random graves like that we're taking photos of, and like they told us to be respectful, like don't walk on them or anything. And
Oh, no. Oh wow, I love that. That's really nice. You can see all my hair.
yeah,
Wow.
that was such a weird weird time.
Wow. Love.
What else? We just had like the most random. Okay, this is a good one, Jordan. So this was in second year. We had to do a self-portrait and then write an artist statement. And I haven't read mine yet because I'm
I
scared
could
of
not.
what it says.
Oh, in your why? Wait, why are you in a towel? I love it, Sarah.
In this photo, I'm in a towel. My hair is soaking wet, and I look very
Okay,
sad.
okay, why? Okay.
So this is what I say. My idea for the self-portrait came from the portraits by Martin Scholar, don't know who that is, of the celebrities up close, showing their faces close up in full detail. I love how raw and personal they were. So I decided to put my own spin on the portraits. I decided to take the photo of me with wet hair, no makeup, and in a towel, because when I just get out of the shower, I feel like that's my most raw self. I wanted to do a very honest photograph to challenge myself and show who I am in a different way.
Aw, Sarah,
What an artist I
you were
was.
such an. I love that you have no idea who Martin Schuler is now.
Maybe we learned about him. I don't know. So this is the photo I was talking about before with like the diptych.
Oh yes,
That I thought it was so good.
Yes, I
And he
remember
thought it was
this.
horrible because I did like the 2 reflections and I was
I thought
heartbroken.
it was pretty good.
And shooting this, oh my goodness, this was in my grandma's bathtub and it was with my friend Lexi.
Mm.
And we shot it for probably like 3 or
What
4
is
hours,
with
and we were all actually almost
what is
crying.
with you
and
and
yeah.
shower and bathtubs is my question. You
I
were
don't know. I actually did do a lot
well, I
of
was gonna
assignments
say
in
you're in a
bathtubs.
towel getting out of the shower. She's in the tub.
And then I did one of Jordan in a
Yeah.
bathtub. Should we go to that one next?
Yep.
This is
Yep.
one of my favorite assignments.
Yeah. I love that you love this. I look like I'm a drowned rat.
This is epic. This photo is so good.
You know what's funny about this is that this was for critique class, I'm pretty sure, was it not?
It was for
And
critique.
she got top 5. It was top 5, like she won top 5, but nobody in the class, because I look so horrible, no one knew it was me. No one knew it was me until Sarah was laughing about it. And then they were like, wait, that's you? And I'm like, oh God, even worse that they don't know.
I think I got first place for this one, Jordan.
You look like a man.
And Jordan was up in the hallway for the full week.
That's the worst part. Because after you win critique, they like display it.
Yeah. It's so funny. And shooting this was the funniest thing. I have this like Snapchat memory of Jordan, and she's sitting in the bathtub and she's laying down and we were playing My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion, because Jordan, I was like, what song would make you cry? And she was like, the Titanic song. So we put on My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
Oh my God.
And Jordan's just trying to make herself cry.
Didn't work, but I look mad, so it all worked out in the end.
Yeah. No, that photo's... No, it's funny. The comparison of this photo, Jordan, to my Beyonce photo.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I don't even... What was this for? What was this, like, for a cover?
This was...
Cover album?
It was like album cover,
yes.
and we had to recreate...
Yes.
And this was like... I don't have like,
I know
a shirt Beyonce,
I know exactly which one, which album cover you're...
I do not look like myself in that photo.
Did you... Like, well, you did your makeup kind of to, like, be like hers.
Yeah. And, like, we like, did contouring in Lightroom. Like, we darkened my cheekbones. And, like, my head was, like, placed like this. So it made my eyeballs look massive.
That's so funny.
That was a weird one, too. Oh, this is our video.
What? This is, you know what's so funny about that is I wanted to be an actor as a child, and this just proves that I would never have made it. Like, I would never have made it. Absolutely not.
I don't even know what, that must have just been like one of our in-class assignments or something, because I really don't know what we're doing.
Why do I look?
Jordan's walking into the cafeteria.
Why do I look like, so excited?
And looking
shocked?
Why
am I staring right at you?
Because you saw Starbucks.
Oh my God.
This was one of my other favorites.
Yep. Honestly,
so this is a picture of Jordan laying in my bed, and looks like she's unconscious. Her mouth's open. She's sleeping. And then there's $20 bills all
you know
over
what's
her body.
funny? More sleep, more money. And it's like, how much is that? 20, 40, 60, 80, 160?
$100.
Like, oh my God, I'm rich. Like, that would buy me a few bags of groceries today. Like,
yeah, I think that's what this was. It was an ad.
Oh, what did I
It was like an ad saying, it was like I said it was for a mattress company, and it was like, if you sleep more, you get more money.
My God.
I don't really know.
I wish.
I don't think I put much work into that
You
one.
had more fun ones than me. Mine were not this fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this one, I was going through my old hard drive. No clue at all what this was from. What? I have no idea. So I'm in a field holding a deer head.
Let me see the next one.
I have no clue. Like, I don't think this was used.
Cry.
But I think my idea was I was gonna put the deer head on my face of this photo. So it's a photo of me just standing in a field in snow, and then there's just a deer head.
Oh.
I was laughing so hard when I found this.
What in the world?
Also, I don't know what I'm wearing.
Can I just
Very
say,
strange outfit.
this is so humbling to look through these.
This was hipster chic. I have like the beanie and like the
that was your
jacket,
hipster
the skinny
era.
jeans.
It really was.
But yeah, I kind of remember the idea, like the concept, but I think my mom literally brought that deer head to Edmonton so I could do this idea. And then, like, if I would have used that, the kids really would have thought that we came from the boonies.
Yeah, they really would have. Like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
Oh, that is horrifying. But yeah, that's my grand
Oh my
finale
God,
of
okay.
the photos I found
Okay.
from Nate.
So,
Yeah. Oh, that was a good
this is,
one.
I'm pretty sure Sarah took this one of me, but this was from one of our
I think this was during class.
in-class assignments. I'm pretty sure this was like, again, we were
Yeah.
practicing and they made us like freeze things or something. And we like did this with my hair.
Jordan's like flipping up her hair, tongue sticking out, which kind of looks like
Honestly,
a moose.
really love her.
Funny.
I have this one. It's not funny, but like it's again
Oh, that was
an
good
example
one.
of like making us do like studio photography and like our like London dry gin.
still life.
I love that it was gin. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure this was my bottle that I brought from home.
Yeah. That's so cute.
This here.
That was really
this
good.
was
Is
yeah,
that
this
you?
was me.
Oh.
It's not as good as I thought it was back then, but I like
a Photoshop.
yeah, so I
composite.
like sat in a chair, made it really dark, and then I like put my hands in different places and took like 6 different pictures and then put it all together, and then I photoshopped like weird
Oh.
veins. I don't even know what I was trying to do.
That's so funny. Were you supposed to be like a broken woman?
yeah, I love that I left the Lululemon icon.
Oh,
like,
of course.
you gotta show it
On
off. I
brand.
don't know.
That's so funny. Oh, this is. Oh my gosh, Jordan, is that the one you used?
I have no idea. I don't know. But
Okay, explain this. Explain this.
So this is 7 Deadly Sins, and I picked gluttony. So me and Sarah, we went. No, but we wanted an excuse to buy snacks, so I think we just went and bought a bunch of snacks. I
True.
love that it's sherbet. You have it on your nose.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I'm sitting in bed with cookies and chocolate covered strawberries.
It's
and...
really iconic, really. Oh god, there's this one.
I'm supposed to be watching TV.
Yeah, we should have put the
aren't I?
TV in it.
Yeah.
There's this one. I don't know. It was
Oh, cute.
but this is everybody's mouth. I thought it was being very hipster by doing this. I still think it's kind of fun. I
Yeah.
think I got a really bad mark on this, to be honest. But
a bunch of smiles. Oh, really?
yeah, I don't know.
I think it's cute.
Yeah, I didn't even light it. I just took pictures of people. I barely tried. There's this one.
Oh, that Photoshop
I know
job.
it's really bad, but I don't know.
That's
I honestly
so
don't
funny.
even know what it was for. Like, I don't know.
This
The
is
album
best.
cover, like Sarah did Beyonce, I did Silver Linings Playbook, so I copied like Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
And I think I changed Sarah's eye color because
Did.
I wanted her to have blue eyes.
I was really not meant to have blue eyes. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
like
Also, what was happening with my hair?
I don't know, because that was how her hair was in the album cover. So we did it like that. I was
Oh.
trying to be very like it's not even in focus. Like I don't know. Like I thought it was in
It's
focus,
not in
but maybe
focus?
it's not. It looks blurry to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what I was doing. Like I thought it was so cool when I did this.
I remember thinking it was like epic.
Yeah, it's really not, but
Cute.
oh god. I wish I had funny ones. Also, a lot of our hard drives, because they're so old, like they
Don't work.
don't
anymore?
plug in anymore. So there's a lot of stuff I might have lost.
So
Cool.
funny.
Well, I don't know.
Well, yeah,
That's-
that's kind of a recap on our Nate days.
There's probably more we could share, but it'll pop back into
Oh,
our heads
yeah.
as we.
Maybe if we get those hard drives rolling, we could do a part 2.
Yeah, we could interview one of our
Hilarious.
teachers.
That'd be cute.
Little reunion.
Could you
I think they
imagine?
would. That'd be kinda cute.
See how bad we were? What they
No,
thought
I
of us is
listen.
little-
I have a feeling they'd be like, nope, you guys had fun, and we love that about you guys. That's what I feel like they would say.
Yeah. But that was a fun little stroll down memory lane.
Yeah, it literally was. I hope
so cute.
if anybody's thinking about doing a class, you definitely should. It's definitely worth the money, or even just a
Yeah,
business class.
A lot of photographers say it's not worth the hype, but honestly, I'm
and you
thankful
know,
for
you know
our
what? I'm
time.
thankful too. I do think I say this a lot. It's like I don't think I needed to go to school. I really don't think like people that didn't go to school, they're still great. And like I think it just really kickstarted us. Like I think out of anything, it really just got our heads in the game and kickstarted our careers to be just a little bit like more ready and more confident than what we would have been if we just had started without school. So I think 100%
I think so too.
we could have done it.
It depends where you are at your career and where you are like and how you learn too. I think some people wouldn't have thrived in that environment, but I don't know, it was good for
Yeah.
us. So
Yeah.
I'm thankful for
Yeah.
it. For sure.
Thanks for listening.
And thanks for
Thanks for
listening.
humoring us, going down memory lane.
Yeah. We had a good chuckle, that's for
Yes.
sure.
Oh, Sweet. All right.
Cool.
Signing off. We'll talk to you
See ya
next week.
Bye.